Hey there, Chaplain Cairns here, Deputy Brigade Chaplain of the 2nd Recruiting Brigade. Just wanted to follow on with another motivational moment. We've talked about having a mission, values, vision that governs your life. So your mission is why you're alive, what you aim at in life, what you want to be standing in the retirement community looking over your shoulder at as a body of work. It's who you are and how you're aimed, not necessarily what you do. What you do is an extension of that. Then those are like the end zones of the football field I talked about, where your values are the sidelines. And then your mission and your values don't really change, although you may add a value down the road as you mature and grow older. But your vision, these are the X's and O's for getting up the football field. This is your every 3 to 5 year refreshment of your vision. You may face new obstacles and need to get around it. You may need to create some budgeting for pulling something off your bucket list into your annual leave. So your vision is very specific. It's, hey, we want to be homeowners within 3 to 5 years, so we got to save for that. Or we want to transition from the Army and go to a new career. Although why would anybody want to do that? We're awesome. That's my 2nd Brigade, recruiting moment. But so vision is something that's really specific. So what I have soldiers do a lot of the time is just to tell me to draw on a piece of paper, alone or with their spouse, what's your mission? What are your values? What's your vision for the next 3 to 5 years? Just to get them to say it out loud. And then I turn the page and say, okay, now that you've got mission, values, and vision, we need to look at how you are creating a work-life balance that isn't crowding out who you really are. So we need to make sure that those things that give us life, that refresh our soul, aren't crowded out by everything else that we're doing in terms of duties and responsibilities, because it's unsustainable to go through life. You'll end up in what's called occupational burnout if you're constantly doing things that drain you, but you aren't doing those things that feed your soul, give you life, and let you hit that next week with the motivation you need to carry on and to take the hill. So in the Army, we're particularly bad at this, whether it's our commanders expecting too much of us, expecting the work of 2 human beings when you're only 1 human being. That's not sustainable. We do that to people a lot in the Army. Or it may be that you're an overachiever, that you're always wanting to take the hill with meager resources and demonstrate that you should be promoted instead of somebody else. And what you're doing is you're going through your career, sacrificing your family perhaps, sacrificing your sanity perhaps, on the altar of the mission. And I'm a patriot's patriot. I want us to accomplish the mission. And in our particular case, recruiting is the mission. And we've got to be able to fight 2 wars in 2 theaters on 2 fronts in a near-peer decisive action. And recruiting is the front line of continuing our nation's readiness to protect the Western enforced global economy, the rules-based global economy that has brought prosperity to not just our nation, but nations around the world. So you all are very important in that mission of readiness. And so I believe in the mission, don't get me wrong, but I don't think we should be sacrificing our families on the altar of that mission. And I don't think that that's something a commander can force us to do. That is a lifestyle choice. And so what I want to help you do is to create a design of life that imposes your will on the chaos that's just at the margins of your life left over by the Army. Because if you look at that one sheet of paper, that's all your time, all your energy resources. You are one single human being. You are finite. You cannot, even if you're higher capacity than others, you cannot go for an extended period without refreshing your soul, without feeding yourself. We all come with sort of a 100,000 gallon reservoir of resources. And when we're 18 to 22, we think we're immortal. By the time we get to 30, can't really party with the kids like we used to. By the time we get to 40, we're just looking around for a place to nap. And so we want to design a way of sustaining our Army career in a work-life balance that gives us joy, that causes us to stay committed to the mission, that refreshes our soul and washes out the cynicism, the bitterness, the anger at previous assignments or commands that didn't treat us the way we thought we should be, or even Big Army making decisions for us that we wouldn't have preferred. But we've all volunteered for this, and subject to the needs of Big Army, we go where they say go. So we don't want to leave the Army. The best recruiting force ever in the history of mankind, second only to y'all, is veterans who leave the Army and have had a great experience, and they tell their family members. And if we're burning people out to the point that they're cynical and bitter, we need to make sure that we're doing a better job of command, taking care of our soldiers, putting people first, and our people understanding how to create a work-life balance, how to create boundaries, like our FAP has been talking about. Olivia Pierce, or Nikki, I guess she is on Facebook, but talking about boundaries so that we're creating a greater margin left over by the Army, and what we're doing in that margin of time with that energy that we have left over from the Army, which isn't much sometimes, we're doing the things that refresh our soul so that we hit the next week with the motivation that we need. And so we need to be doing a better job ourselves. It's not Big Army's fault. Big Army is an impersonal bureaucracy with the mission of fighting and winning our nation's wars. And we've all volunteered to be a part of that mission. So it's not really Big Army's fault if we aren't taking care of ourselves. And sometimes we need to say no to certain things because of our mission, values, and vision. I had a first sergeant tell me when I gave him the mission, values, vision thing, he said, family is what I'm about. That's my mission. And I said, okay, well, if family is your mission, then with this new job offer you're getting, that Big Army's dangling the carrot in front of you, you perhaps need to say no to that and yes to an assignment that your wife would prefer, because you've put a lot of things on hold and sacrificed a lot, and she's sacrificed a lot. Maybe it's time, because of your mission, to hold that new opportunity up to the light and do what is right for your family. I understand when the bullets are flying in 16-hour days and you're downrange in a combat environment. We all have to work hard. We all have to overextend ourselves. That's just what's required. But in a garrison training environment or in the environment that we work in, we shouldn't be sacrificing our families on the altar of the mission. That's just not what we have to do. I want to help you sustain a career in the Army so that you're living a life that you enjoy. And so what we're going to talk about is how to create a design that frees up some extra margin and that imposes your will on those margins of time so that you get out of life what you're looking to get out of life, and you can stand with pride in the retirement community decades from now looking over your shoulder going, I invested in people. I did what I said I wanted to do. I aimed my life well. And so we're going to talk about that a bit more in succeeding videos. Great to be with you for this motivational moment with Chaplain Captain Chris Cairns.